Good morning, Unity of San Marcos. It is with deep love and great respect that I welcome you here this morning. All of you who are gathered here, as well as those who will be joining us at their convenience on YouTube. I am Linda Gillespie, licensed Unity teacher, and grateful to be here with you this morning. At a retreat several years ago at Unity Village, Joan Boycinko was the host for the retreat. And she talked about something that Andrew Harvey had said that really got my attention. He said, everyone is a closet mystic. Got my attention. I was going, huh, not me. Who are you kidding? Well, over the years that has changed. Never in my wildest dreams at that time would I have ever considered myself a mystic. Can anybody else in this room identify with that?
Oh, yes.
Yeah. So let's look at what mysticism is. In the Revealing Word, Charles Fillmore defines it this way. It is the practice of the presence of God, the life of prayer that results in intuitive knowledge and experience of God. So I looked a little further. Sometimes his definitions are rather heady. And one of the online definitions puts it this way. Mysticism is an immediate, directive, intuitive knowledge of God or of ultimate reality attained through personal experience. Wide variations found in both the form and the intensity of the mystical experience. The authenticity of such experience, however, is not dependent on the form, but solely on the quality of life that follows the experience. The mystical life is characterized by enhanced vitality, productivity, serenity, and joy in the inner and outer aspects, harmonizing in the unity of God. I believe that we all have a deep hunger for a deeper relationship with God. Cultivating this relationship that we see with the divine is like any other loving relationship. It takes time. It doesn't happen overnight, or it might. But it involves wanting to know everything possible about spirit, paying close attention to thoughts and feelings that arise as we spend time in prayer and meditation. The more time you give to a relationship, the more you feel your life changing. Your love affair with God has begun, and your spiritual dance with Him is in motion. We get so caught up in our human existence that we forget who we truly are, what we have come here to be. We are God's beloved, first and foremost, and always. Our nature is peace, joy, and love. Nothing that you can do can ever change that. I'm going to say that again. I want to be sure you hear that. Nothing you can ever do can change that. We so quickly forget that when God created us human beings, it did so with pure confidence, giving us free will to create and explore each life experience without judgment. Just go do your thing, kids. Go do your thing. It's all okay. Spirit does not judge when our life looks like a mess, nor will it judge our successes. God is always at the center of each experience in our lives as pure love, unconditional love. God is love. Love is what God does, always, and in all ways. It can't be anything else. If we approach our life experiences looking for love, our life will reflect our expectations, and we will surely see the magnificent splendor of life that is all around us. All it takes is finding one thing, just one thing, to be grateful for. Gratitude is a powerful practice. There is such power in focusing on the possibilities. Romans 8:28 says, "We know that all things work together for good for those who love God and are called according to His purposes." We love God. Therefore, we are called according to His purposes. There is so much power in looking for the good in everything, in trusting that life is on our side, in allowing our own perfection to guide us. Our human tendency is to fear things like mysticism that we don't know enough about and don't understand. And God is forever calling us to come up higher, to stretch, to be more than we have ever been before. Life is so much richer, sweeter, when we supplement the power of mind with the wisdom of the soul. Fear of the unknown will subdue our small, still voice. When all the while, the mystical connection is encouraging us to lift up your voice, speak your truth, see the goodness that is all around you, and allow yourself to revel in the fact that all is well. You are safe. And most of all, you know that you are loved with a love that passes all understanding, an unconditional love. You were born of it. Love is who you are. Everybody breathe. Even if you are afraid, there is a part of you that has never known fear. And it will always give you courage to do what is important to you. And it will show you how to do it. Just trust and let your voice be heard with a faith that comes from knowing that you have something important to say. In Luke 12:12, we're told, the Holy Spirit will give you the words to say the moment when you need them. I find that to be true every time I write a talk. I have some general idea of what I want to say, but boy, oh boy, the rest is not me. Unless we believe that God is good, why would we even want to experience it directly? Why would we want to trust Spirit with your biggest fears, our greatest challenges? Why would we want to surrender the outcomes of our lives to it? Because we have hope in the goodness of God. Experiencing the goodness of God is what we all are seeking. As we fully embrace the goodness of God, our mysticism allows us to trust the experience. When we know that we are truly adored by the Creator of the universe and that it loves us without reservation, we are given the opportunity to shift our perception of every single event in our life. We get to choose. We get to choose whether we see the good in everything or not. No one can do that for us. When we recognize the presence of God in everything, we step into the flow of the divine, which allows us to live our lives in the goodness of God. We then see God everywhere, in the clouds that have blessed us with such beautiful rain recently, and in the blossoms on the fruit trees that produce the fruit that nourishes us and gives us pleasure. Like Fredericksburg peaches, for heaven's sake. We see lots of those in this part of the world. And in the face of a baby. Lest we forget that the beloved is at the center of all that is. I have a little story to tell you. I never will forget the Sunday that I was getting ready to do a talk at Unity of New Braunfels. And a friend of mine was at the front of the church with her baby boy. He was about 4, maybe 6 months old. And everybody was standing, singing the introduction song like we did earlier this morning. And she was holding him on the pew in front of her. And he was just a happy camper. And I just walked over to him and I said to her, I'm taking him. And I brought him here. And he nuzzled his head right here in the crook of my neck. And I just turned around and went back to the podium. Because Jack and I were experiencing a oneness that I don't know that I've ever experienced with another human being in my life. And he was right here. He didn't make a sound. He didn't move. And I just went back to the podium and went on with the service. In a little while, his mother came and got him because she said, you can't go on with this, and took him away from me. But that was such a beautiful connection. Me with Jack and us with God. So he was so fresh from God. That's all he knew. That is the peace that passes all understanding. Love is everywhere. We can never be anywhere that it is not. How many times do we say that in services? My question is, how many times do you say that to yourselves? God is here, right now. When we practice communing with love in our everyday lives, we remember that it is always with us. How did Charles Fillmore define mysticism? The practice in the presence of God, the life of prayer that results in intuitive knowledge and experience of God. And then the online expounds upon it. The authenticity of such experience, however, is not dependent on form, but solely on the quality of life that follows the experience. The mystical life is characterized by enhanced vitality, productivity, serenity, and joy, as the inner and outer aspects harmonize in unity with God. As emerging mystics, we practice seeing love wherever we are. We might not even be aware of God's presence because we have some preconceived idea about what an experience of God is supposed to look like. We've got this all made up in our minds. When, in reality, the invitation to walk with it is all around us. In every sunrise, in every breath, in every laugh, in every tear. The question is, are we willing to take time to notice and acknowledge the presence? The important thing in building a relationship with God is to pay attention. Pay attention to what is going on around you, what you see, what you feel, what you experience. How many times have I used that word this morning? Experience. We are experiencing something all the time. Be mindful. As your relationship with Spirit grows, there are some things you might not consider doing, that you might consider doing if you don't already have them as a part of your practice. First of all, when you open your eyes in the morning, say, "Thank you. I am grateful for this new day." It doesn't really matter what's going on in your life. Simply waking up is something to be grateful for. Soon after waking, sit for a while and have a conversation with God, just like you would have a conversation with your best friend. It might go something like this. Divine Creator, Maker of all things who love and cherish me, today I feel your presence in me, and it brings me such joy and peace. My intention for today is to feel you in everything I see and do as I move through this day. I will look for the good and be grateful. Pay attention. As you shower, feel the water on your skin as Spirit's touch. Hear Spirit saying, "Feel me. I'm here." The water that caresses your body is my gift to you. As you dry off, feel Spirit asking, "Isn't that invigorating? I give you this awareness of renewed energy because I love you." As you move through your morning routine, use each experience as a special time to commune with God. Know that each activity that you perform previously by rote, when you're making your coffee, having your cereal, those things that we just do by rote, is an opportunity to raise your awareness of the presence of God. At first, it may seem silly as you practice this conscious communion with God, but do it anyway. You can never be anywhere that God is not. God is always there, every single second. Pay attention. Pay attention. And once you start to pay attention, You'll be amazed at how your outlook on everything has changed. Everything will take on a different hue. You will see things differently. Your surroundings that you once took for granted will suddenly appear different somehow. And you will notice even the smallest detail in the mundane and be grateful. As you allow your mystic to emerge, you will become aware that you are a gift, that you are cherished by God, who knows only good and loves you completely without reservation. You will view yourself in a new light, softer and gentler. You will also understand that life is to be treasured, no matter what the circumstances are, because you look at it through the eyes of love. More and more you will find yourself surrendering to the one that guides you, and your level of trust will grow. Mystics live a life of trust. Trust is followed by surrender, and surrender invites a life of fulfillment and joy. Such is your life, the life of the mystic. Someone asked me yesterday to define mysticism in my own words. Caught me off guard, and so I didn't have time to think about it. But simply put, I said, for me, it is to experience God always and in all ways. My prayer for each of you is that you practice the presence of God, the life of prayer that results in intuitive knowledge and experience of God. You will trust enough to surrender and experience a life of fulfillment and profound joy. Namaste. It is the Christ in me that beholds the Christ in each of you.